In the mid-1800s, America was moving at the speed of horses. Cities were small, roads were dusty, muddy, and dangerous. Travel between towns could take days. Families stayed in one place for generations. Life was slow, but the country was growing fast. Factories were rising and railroads were spreading. But trains couldn't take you everywhere. People needed something personal, something faster. And so the whispers began. In small towns across America, rumors spread of strange machines that ran on wheels and engines. People in Detroit, they called them crazy. The noise was loud, the smell was strange, and the machines kept breaking down. But the idea wouldn't be stopped. America wanted progress, and progress was coming fast. The world didn't know it yet, but these machines would soon connect every town, change every job, and rewrite the American way of life. And it would all start with a handful of dreamers working in the shadows of a new century. They weren't just building cars, they were building the future. That's 1 minute. See you next time. The year was 1893. Two brothers, Charles and Frank Duria, rolled out the first gasoline-powered carriage. It was ugly and clunky and slow, but it didn't need a horse. Word got around, and people started gathering in the streets to watch. Some laughed, some were angry. Many said it would never replace the horse. But in Detroit, other inventors took notice. Men like Ransom Olds began building their own versions. Engines got stronger and frames got lighter. It was a race to make America's first reliable car, but there was a problem. These cars were expensive. Only the rich could buy them. For the average American, they were still just a dream. In a small workshop in Dearborn, Michigan, one man watched this race with sharp eyes. His name was Henry Ford, and he had no interest in making cars for the rich. He wanted to make cars for the middle class, for the average American. He wanted to put a car in every driveway. The world was about to meet the Model T. In 1903, Detroit was a wild place. Dozens of small car companies were fighting to survive. Most of them would fail within a year, but not Henry Ford's. He wasn't trying to build a car for the rich. He wanted to build a car for everyone, for the farmers, the factory workers, the teachers. A car that was tough and cheap and easy to fix. People thought he was crazy. Investors doubted him, but Ford kept building. He worked day and night, redesigning every part of the car to be made faster and cheaper. And in 1908, the world saw the result. The Ford Model T. It had a strong steel body and a simple engine, and it cost only $825, less than half the price of most cars. Demand exploded. People all across the country ordered one. Ford's small factory couldn't keep up. So in 1913, he introduced something that shocked the world, the moving assembly line. For the first time, cars were built piece by piece, moving down a line of workers. Production time went from 12 hours to just 90 minutes. And the price dropped to only $360. Now the average American could afford a car. It wasn't just a machine anymore. It was freedom on four wheels. And America would never go back. By 1920, the Ford Model T was everywhere, from the farms of Iowa to the busy streets of New York. But there was a problem. The roads were terrible. Most were dirt roads filled with rocks and mud and deep ruts. Cars broke down often, and travelers could be trapped for days. America had to change, and it did, fast. The government began paving highways, connecting cities like never before. Gas stations appeared along country roads. Repair shops opened in small towns. Diners and motels sprung up for travelers making long trips. Suddenly, cross-country travel was possible. A family in Chicago could drive to California. Truck companies began hauling goods across state lines. Cities grew larger and new suburbs spread into the open farmland. The car was no longer just a tool, it was shaping the nation itself. Jobs were created, businesses thrived. The rhythm of daily life changed. For the first time, ordinary Americans felt true independence. They could go where they wanted, when they wanted. But with freedom came something else, a hunger for style, speed, and power. The simple black Model T would soon face a new wave of competition, and the American car culture was about to explode. By the 1950s, America was roaring. The war was over, money was flowing, and the car had become more than transportation. It was identity. Detroit's big three, Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler, battled for dominance, each year releasing sleeker, faster, flashier models. Chrome grills, tail fins, and bright colors ruled the streets. The highway system was expanding. Interstate 66, Route 66, and countless others became symbols of freedom. Teenagers cruised to drive-ins, rock and roll blasting from their car radios. Families loaded up station wagons for cross-country vacations. Cars weren't just machines. They were dreams on wheels, and Hollywood turned them into stars. Magazines celebrated them. Drag strips and stock car races brought speed to the spotlight, but beneath the shine, competition was fierce. Every company wanted the fastest acceleration, the smoothest ride, the lowest price. The car market was a battlefield, and innovation was the weapon. Detroit was winning. America's cars were in demand worldwide. From New York to Los Angeles, the automobile had become a symbol of the American dream itself. But the dream would soon hit a wall. A storm was coming, and it wouldn't be from the weather. The 1970s began with a bang. Detroit was untouchable. American cars were everywhere. Gas was cheap. Then, almost overnight, everything changed. In 1973, a global oil crisis hit. Gas prices skyrocketed. Lines formed at stations. Drivers waited for hours, sometimes only to find empty pumps. The big V8 engines that once symbolized power now became a problem. They drank too much fuel. Families could no longer afford to drive like they once did. Across the ocean, Japanese automakers like Toyota and Honda saw their chance. They shipped small, fuel-efficient cars to the U.S., reliable, affordable, and easy on gas. Americans who once laughed at tiny imports now lined up to buy them. Detroit scrambled to respond. Factories retooled. Models were redesigned. Engineers worked to make smaller, more efficient engines, but the damage was done. For the first time in decades, the American auto industry had been shaken. It was a wake-up call. The golden age of big, flashy cars was over. Now survival meant adapting to a new reality, one where fuel efficiency, safety, and technology would decide the winners. And the next battle for the road was already beginning. The car industry had entered a new battlefield. By the 1990s, it wasn't just about style or size anymore. Now it was about technology. Safety was the first weapon. Airbags, anti-lock brakes, and crumple zones turned cars into safer machines. Then came the luxury upgrades, GPS navigation, automatic windows, and digital dashboards. The race for innovation was on. Hybrid cars appeared, blending gasoline and electric power. Toyota's Prius showed that efficiency could be cool. Detroit followed, but the competition was fierce. And then in 2003, a new challenger arrived. From a small office in California, Tesla Motors set out to build fully electric cars that could rival their gasoline counterparts in speed and style. Most experts laughed. Electric cars had failed before, but Tesla pushed forward, building sleek, powerful machines that broke records. Meanwhile, Silicon Valley joined the fight. Google tested self-driving cars. Software became as important as horsepower. By the 2000s, American roads were filled with more technology than ever before. Cars could park themselves. Some could even hit the brakes to avoid accidents. The car had evolved from a noisy machine of steel and fuel to a rolling computer on wheels. But the next transformation was still on the horizon, and it would challenge everything Americans knew about driving. Today, America stands at the edge of a new driving revolution. For 150 years, the car has changed shape, speed, and power. But one thing has stayed the same: a human behind the wheel. That's about to change. In test tracks across California, self-driving cars are learning to navigate without a driver. Sensors scan the road, cameras watch for danger. Artificial intelligence makes split-second decisions. Electric trucks promise cross-country hauls with zero emissions. Flying car prototypes hover over runways. Cities are building smart roads that communicate with vehicles, warning them of hazards miles ahead. The future is moving fast. And it's not just about cars anymore. It's about how humans will live, work, and travel in a world where machines think for themselves. Some call it progress. Others fear it. Because when cars no longer need us, will we still control the journey, or will the journey control us? From the dusty roads of 1800s America to highways buzzing with AI-powered vehicles, one truth has never changed. Cars don't just move people. They move history, and the next 150 years are already rolling toward us.